also want to look at the rear wheel and see why the brake's dragging a little bit. Put it back in neutral. Oop. That'll be one of these. Like that one. There's the missing socket. Alright. Not exactly tight.
Yeah.
I've been having that problem on this bike. This bike originally had a floating pivot in here, but the way they got this one made, they didn't make this part deep enough to really float in there per se. So you got to kind of use this thing here. If both of these squares were welded together and stick up high enough, you have to use this other piece on the outside. And this, he made this a tapered nut so you get more threads on it. So definitely playing around pretty heavy.
So when you say floating, then this shouldn't be tightened down at all.
Correct. They changed the design of this in 73, I think, 74. And they went to the non-floating style. So this one here should be the floating one. This one takes a nut, so it should be a floating style. The other one takes a bolt that goes in the backing plate. It's a non-floating style. It's two different ways of doing the same basic thing. But the floating style has less binding of the brake mechanism. And those are actually not too much. I'm going to go ahead and kick back some of this free play we got in here. We got a lot of free play. And we got one part tight.
Yeah.
At least something's got some torque to it. Not quite the torque I use, but at least it's torqued. Okay. 1/2-inch wrench. As soon as we do just a little bit more back here, go 1, 2, 2 flats more. Okay. So you have to help me on this part.
Okay.
So you put the brake on. No, leave it on.
Okay.
Catch the bow. All you do is tighten the nut.
Oh.
It's going? Okay. Let's get back over here.
Alright.
Okay. The way you do this is you turn the wheel, put the brake on. That centers up the backing plate over there. Okay, now tighten up the axle nut. See, that in itself binds up the backing plate slightly after the shoes, which ideally you shouldn't even do that. And then we got to tighten this up, doing the same thing on this. Okay, so go ahead and tighten that up for me.
Okay.
Let me hit the brake on here. Okay.
Okay.
And see, it binds up even further now. So.
Yeah.
So this system here binds it. See,
That's why it's not
when you
working.
tighten it all the way up, it really binds it, see? Okay, let's try this again. This time you work the brake. Go ahead and turn the camera off. We can't do the camera though. Just close it. Alright, been screwing on this brake a little bit off of video. I got it where it's working a little bit better, but still dragging. We got new shoes on this, which is not helping. The brake lever over here, we put the inch of free play back in you're supposed to have. That helped a lot. But right now the problem is that this pedal is supposed to go up all the way up against this foot peg, which it's not. So this needs to be adjusted upwards. That's done by the bolt way back up in there, which you can't even see. It's behind those hoses over there. Hits on the frame. And what has to be done is you have to move this pedal up one position here on the notch, and then adjust the whole pedal so that it's just barely hitting here. So you got a double adjustment you got to do. So that bolt right there is what goes back and forth when you hit it. I can't move it, so stiff. There you go. So you have to adjust this bolt up higher, but right now you can't even get access to it because it's buried behind all this crap over here. We got foot pegs in here, we got battery right behind it, and all that, so there's no room. This whole lever here, this lever here is so far back that the chain is going to hit right up in there against it. When you see the mark rubbing on it. So this whole thing needs to be forward more up about here. So that's all done by adjusting the pedal over there and adjusting this here.
Right.
And then you take up the slack back here. You have to move this adjuster back to make it so it all works again. So all that stuff's got to be worked on. You got to pull half the bike apart to do it. So we'll let the customer play with it for a while. But anyway, that's where we're at on that. Meantime, I got the pivots adjusted like you saw in the video, the first part of it. So, and we got our chain slack where we need to be. So I get back to real work. Let's get back to getting this thing to run.